Hey, this is going to be somewhat of a preface to the Sencore video, the Sencore multimeter video that I did. I thought I'd add this. I've actually originally filmed that Sencore video clear back in August, and at some point they'll reference 86 degrees outside, and well, it's not even close to 86 degrees now. It's more like 26. But I've been using this meter for several months now as my primary multimeter. And I did a little bit of complaining about it in the video that you'll see on accuracy, but actually it's probably within the specs of the accuracy that is claimed, which is only maybe like 2% or something. But I just wanted to show one of the things I do like about this meter. It responds really quickly to the whatever measurement that you're taking, which really helps out the troubleshooting process. I have along the side here, I've got a circuit board from one of the original Sencore digital multimeters, a DMM 32 from the mid-1970s that I have some trouble with, and I haven't quite figured out what's wrong with it yet. And I'm just basically going to use this as somewhat of a standard, I guess, an example to show you how quickly this meter does respond. So I'll sit down and basically I just take a few resistance measurements and then flip it over to diode function and check a couple diodes real quick, just show you how quickly you can actually make some quick tests with this meter. So as you can see, you can really make some measurements really quickly with this meter, and that's something I found that I really like with it, and one of the reasons why I made it one of my primary handheld meters. And if I need accuracy within 6 digits and 0.003%, well, I can go up there and use my Keithley 197A and be right spot on every measurement. But this, even though in the video that it's going to start after this preface, I have kind of determined that I do like this meter quite a lot. So I just thought that I would, since I somewhat criticize the meter for its accuracy, I just thought that I would record this preface before the actual video starts. Purchased this Sencore DM501 multimeter off of eBay here last week, and I got it here today, and it's I'm not sure when they made these meters. I see it on the back, it says made in Taiwan, but I don't know if this is like in the 90s, maybe sometime mid to early 90s, I'm not sure, but it's not too bad of a meter. It seems like it's fairly rugged looking. And this particular one here is literally brand new. The seller that sold it said basically this meter is brand new, and yeah, you hear that and it's like, yeah, alright, whatever. Well, literally this thing has never been, I mean, he may have fired it up and tested a couple things with it, but other than that, he put it back in a box, and that was it. It came with instruction manual, full box, set of test leads. The leads I have on here are leads that I already have, that I had. They're good quality Pomona with the little clips on them that I use for whenever I'm testing meters like this with my little DMM check that I bought about a year ago. And I was a little bit disappointed in the accuracy in this. I mean, I guess if you think about it, being disappointed, it's not like it's off that much, but it definitely needs to be tweaked a little bit. On the 5-volt scale on the DMM check, I'm reading 5.02 volts. Now I have a Keithley 197A that I use pretty much as my standard, and the numbers on this and my Keithley match identically, and that's ended up being a really great meter that I got for a decent price on eBay also. But 5 volts is about 5.02. That's, to me, that's too far off. It's probably not far enough off to mean anything, 20 millivolts, but I prefer to have my meters closer than that. And then on the resistance range, it's reasonably close. This is the 1K resistor. It's 1.004. Now if you look at the gentleman that does these DMM checks writes down what the actual value of these 1K resistors are at 69 degrees Fahrenheit. Now it's 86 degrees in this garage right now, so that's definitely well within spec. He has for the 1K 1.00014, so that's probably more or less acceptable. Now on the 10K 10.002, that's off a fair amount. He has 9.9947, and I just verified, since there's such a huge temperature difference with my Keithley 197A, and it literally showed within a digit. I think it showed 9.943 maybe rather than 947. So that range is, in my opinion, pretty far off. And then at the 100K range, 99.9. Now, of course, you're running out of resolution on that range, and on the information on the DMM check, it shows 99.982. So yeah, that's probably all right. So this definitely needs to be tweaked in. I suppose for just a handheld service type meter, it's just fine, but I personally would rather have things a little bit closer than that. And I guess I should maybe do the milliamp range too while I'm here. Let's see here, milliamps. This should be 1 milliamp. And it's 1.02, 1.03, so probably about 1.025, somewhere in that area. So it could definitely be tweaked. Now, I already had the back off of this because I put a new battery in it, thinking maybe the battery was part of the cause of the lack of accuracy. And I did notice that there are two small variable resistors that I'm sure I could probably trim that in a little bit more exactly. I was looking through the manual here. There is no procedure for adjusting any of this. Basically, they tell you if you want it adjusted, send it back to Sencore, and I'm sure they'd charge me a lot more than the $40 that I paid for this thing. And I'm not sure they would even take it anymore, or they're not sure that they're really doing this sort of thing like they used to. But I don't know, it's kind of a nice meter, and basically, even though it is probably getting close to 20 years old, it is essentially a brand new meter. That thing chirps at you every time you turn it. But I don't know, I kind of like it. It just the feel of it and everything, it seems to be pretty well made. And this is probably going to become my primary handheld meter now. I've got a ton of handheld meters I bought over the past year. Just essentially, I buy them just because I want to look at them and see how they're produced, how they were made. And now I'm going to start probably turning around and selling a majority of them. And this is one of the ones I'm going to keep if I can get it within spec and get it to stay within spec. So seems like these weren't a very good seller. I've had a search on this particular meter for over a year, and this is the first one that I've seen, and immediately put a bid on it, and I was glad that I got it. But I don't know, I just thought I'd show this to you real quick, and this is probably going to be my primary handheld from here on out if I can get that accuracy a little bit closer.